Okay, do you see this face? I'm tired. I'm tired. Um, we, so I'm Filipino. I've talked about this before. Uh, I'm Filipino, you know. My dad's white, my mom's Filipino, but I'm very much Filipino. Grew up speaking Tagalog, grew up with my Filipino family, and the thing is with the constant hate raids that you know we deal with on Twitch, with the trolls, with the racism, with the bigotry, whether we are, you know, hanging out with our community, whatever we're doing, it's constant. And for Black content creators, it is always, always there. Um, but if we are a person of color, if we are queer, it is always, always there. I've had it happen to me. I've had people come into my chat and say racist things to me towards me being Asian. They've had racist usernames. I've had hate raids myself. And here's the thing, to the people who keep telling us, oh, just ignore it or get off the internet, that comes from such a place of privilege. And I already tweeted about this because it's constant, okay? It is constant. It's not just on the internet, it's in the world because we get reminded all the time, all the time, that the system is not built to benefit us. The system is built to benefit cis, straight, white men, period. And we get reminded constantly of that, just in case we forget. And we are not asking, we are demanding that Twitch do better. This platform, our communities, we deserve to feel comfortable in our spaces, in our communities, and deserve to be able to create content, create that content, hang out with our communities without fear, without constant hate raids, without constant racism and bigotry. And it is ridiculous that we have to constantly explain this to people, that what we experience is real and that we are never surprised by it, but we are always exhausted by it. Always. In my time living as an Asian American here, my mother has had people tell her to go back to her country. I had a person tell me when I was 16 years old and my sister was 9, in your country, I could buy you. I have had people call me exotic. I've been called Oriental before as, a smartass comment. These are all things that have happened to me that have been said to me. I have a neighbor who has seen me many times. They know I live in this neighborhood, and yet every other time they see me, they ask me with suspicion, do you live here? You don't look like you live here. And that translates to, you don't look white. And yeah, I'm white passing, but there are people who recognize that I'm Asian and they make comments and they make racist comments. And most people don't know that I'm pan, but I'm very open about it. But when they do find out I'm pan, I do get people who are very queerphobic about it. Now, the thing is, we talk openly and honestly about these things with each other, with our communities, because we have to advocate for ourselves and we have to advocate for each other because we know that no one else will. That we have to lift each other up, that we have to stand together and not just, during times like this where we get hate rated, where we get racism directed at us, where we get bigotry and prejudice. We also stand together to celebrate our wins, to celebrate our joy, because we are absolutely more than our trauma. We have love, we have joy, we have friendships, we have communities. But the hate lately, has been so constant, so blatant. And yeah, it's nothing new. It is not new at all. But it has gotten to the point where it is all the time. all the time. And we're exhausted by it. And, when people say, oh, why are you surprised that Twitch doesn't care about you, that they don't care about you? Are you kidding? We already know they don't care about us. We already know that. We don't need you telling us that. And we sure don't need you telling us how to feel about the bigotry and the hate that we deal with all the time. That is not your place. And it does come from a place of privilege. If you tell a person of color, if you tell a Black person, you tell a person of color, you tell us, you tell more marginalized people how we should feel and how we should act and how we should handle it when we deal with the hate that comes our way, that absolutely comes from a place of privilege. And I know that's hard to hear, but sometimes we have to take that step back and acknowledge when we are coming from a place of privilege. And we have to acknowledge that maybe we're apathetic about things. And please stop telling us to stop whining and to stop speaking up, because you know what? We have to speak up. Do you really think that we like being loud? We don't want to be loud, but that's the only way we get heard, is by standing together and being loud and fighting for every inch. And no, we shouldn't have to fight for every inch. We shouldn't. But we have to. All the time. And so, no, we're not surprised, but we are always tired and disappointed every time it happens. And this is why we speak up. This is why we speak up. This is why we support each other. This is why we stand together. And this is also why we are demanding that Twitch do better. They must. This isn't okay. It's never okay. I'm never surprised that racism exists. I'm never surprised that bigotry exists, because I've been subjected to it. Many of us who are not white, or not straight, we have been subjected to this. So no, we're not surprised it exists, but we're always exhausted by it, and we're always disappointed that we have to constantly explain why it's not okay, why it's terrible. And we're tired of having to fight to exist in our own spaces without hate and without judgment. So if you have ever said or done those things, please think about how your words and behavior affect others. Please take the time to think about whether or not what you are going to say is going to be hurtful to another human being. Our rights are human rights. We deserve to exist. And it's appalling to me what is going on our platform. And people tell us, like, oh, we can just leave. Well, do you think leaving is going to solve the problem? No. We have to do the work. We have to speak up. And the thing is I'm just one person, but I will absolutely do my best to use my voice to speak up, and I have. And I will keep doing that. Because I know how things are. And just because how things are, the common, denominator is, well, that's how things are. Well, just because that's how things are doesn't mean that's how it should be. But I know I have to put in the time and do the work. All of us do. So please stop telling us how to feel about the hate that we deal with. Please stop doing that. And please think about how your words and your actions matter and how they can affect another person. And please do your best to be kind and just listen. Please just listen. Lift people up and just listen. Don't do what you think we need. Ask. Ask, how can you help? And then listen to what we tell you. Follow our lead. Because it is not your place to dictate how we feel and how we handle things. We've been dealing with this forever. Trust me. Just sit and listen. That's all you gotta do. And be kind. Please do your best to be kind. Because frankly, I'm tired. I know many of us are exhausted. But we're doing the best we can. So just listen and be kind. Thank you. I hope you have a great day. Love you all. Bye, everyone.